In this video, we will show you how to debug and troubleshoot tasks in Mail and Deploy. Let's start by exploring the tools available in Mail and Deploy for debugging. When troubleshooting, we have a few key actions at our disposal. First up is the Output Debug Information feature. This allows you to capture detailed logs of your tasks during execution. Then we have the Write Text File option, which is the previous version of Output Debug Information, available only for the on-premise version. You can use this feature to either debug your tasks or create an auditing file that documents everything. Next is the Cycle of Values. This tool helps you test scenarios like giving the server a heavy load. You can use it to cycle over values such as with the getRange_XY function. We also have the Group function. This feature can be toggled on or off, allowing you to test specific actions without executing others. For instance, during debugging, you might decide not to execute certain tasks. Then there's the Module, where we'll show you the module code for deeper insights. Next up is the Execution Calendar. We'll demonstrate how to use it effectively for debugging purposes. Moving on to Data Exchange, this feature is fully operational on-premise, and you can turn it on and off as needed. For the SaaS version, you'll need to set it up by connecting to a SQL server, as local SQLite isn't supported. Finally, we have Grafana. This tool is only relevant for Mail and Deploy SaaS, and monitors the memory and CPU usage of your SaaS instance. You can check how the machine is behaving without needing to connect directly. This way, you can identify if RAM limits are being exceeded, helping you optimize report generation. Now let's dive into some practical examples. First, let's explore the Output Debug Information. Imagine you're in a cycle and need to track which emails are being sent, especially if there are multiple regions involved. To avoid spamming real recipients during testing, you can set up demo email addresses instead. Within the cycle, open the Output Debug Information, and you can enter the details you want to capture. This way, you can ensure that the correct emails are being used. For this debugging session, let's group actions together to ignore certain tasks, like email sending or report generation. This allows us to focus on verifying that the correct emails are associated with the desired regions. Running this will be faster since we're skipping those actions. Next, we'll check the execution calendar. You'll want to download the logs in HTML format for easier analysis. By examining these logs, you can verify that the expected outcomes are being met. Now let's look at the Cycle Over Values feature. Sometimes it's necessary to stress test your server, whether it's to generate multiple reports or assess how it handles increased load. Instead of manually inputting values, you can use the getRange function to automate this process. For example, if you want to create a list from 1 to 100, using getRange allows you to cycle through those values seamlessly. By removing report generation during testing, you'll also speed up the process. Let's group actions together to ignore certain tasks. Moving on to the Write Text File feature, which is an excellent tool for on-premise users. This option lets you log important details like regions, emails, and execution counts. You can track how many reports were processed, creating an audit trail that helps in troubleshooting. Now, Let's switch gears to the execution calendar for mail and deploy. If something doesn't work as expected, you can retrace your steps using this tool. Lastly, let's discuss data exchange. In the on-premise setup, it stores execution logs in a database. By default, it's set to none, so we recommend changing it to local SQLite during installation. In SaaS, however, the setup requires more effort, as you'll need to connect to a data source. Now, where does this data get stored in the on-premise version? If you choose the local SQLite option, it's typically found in the Mail on Deploy installation folder under the Data Exchange directory. We distribute ODBC drivers to facilitate integration with Qlik, enabling you to load this data and analyze all your execution logs. This analysis is critical for tracking past errors and understanding their context. If a task fails, you can investigate whether it's a recurring issue, reviewing how similar problems were resolved in the past. For instance, you might search for previous errors to determine what actions were taken to resolve them. This insight is invaluable for continuous improvement and helps to ensure that future executions run smoothly. By leveraging these tools and techniques, you can effectively troubleshoot and debug tasks in Mail and Deploy. Thank you for watching.